The $3.5 trillion time bomb. No one is talking about private credit crisis. This story is too big for one video, so I'm breaking it into 3 parts, because what starts here gets darker in part 2. And in part 3, you'll see something most people never notice. Watch until the end, because what you're about to see is something most people will only understand after it's too late. Right now, there's a $3.5 trillion market growing in the shadows of the global financial system. It doesn't appear on your daily newsfeed. You won't see it flashing red on stock market charts. And yet, it could quietly trigger the next major financial crisis. This is private credit, a system where billions, actually trillions of dollars are being lent to companies that traditional banks no longer want to touch. No transparency, no real-time pricing, and in many cases, no easy way out. Even analysts like Patrick Boyle have warned that this market is becoming increasingly fragile. And here's the part that should concern you. The same warning signs that existed before 2008 are beginning to reappear, just in a different place. So the question is no longer if something breaks, it's where, when, and how bad it gets. Part 1. What is private credit? Let's slow this down and make it simple. Private credit is, at its core, lending outside the traditional banking system. Instead of going to a bank for a loan, companies are now borrowing from private investment funds, asset managers, pension-backed lending groups, hedge funds. These lenders step in where banks have stepped back. On the surface, that might sound efficient, even beneficial. More access to capital, more flexibility, faster decisions. But here's the critical difference. These loans are not publicly traded, they are not priced daily, and they are often made to riskier borrowers. In traditional markets, prices adjust instantly. If something is wrong, markets react. In private credit, problems can stay hidden for months, even years. Part 2. How big is this market really? Let's talk scale, because this is where it gets serious. Private credit isn't a niche anymore. It has grown into a multi-trillion-dollar industry, estimated at over $3.5 trillion globally. That's larger than many national economies, and it's still growing fast. Over the past decade, institutional investors poured money into private lending. Banks pulled back after tighter regulations. Interest rates created new incentives, and suddenly, a shadow version of the banking system emerged. This is often referred to as the shadow banking system. Not illegal, not hidden in the sense of secrecy, but outside the traditional safeguards. And that's where risk starts to build. Part 3. Why private credit is booming now. To understand why this is happening now, we need to look at the bigger picture. 1. High interest rates. Over the last few years, central banks aggressively raised interest rates to fight inflation. This changed everything. Borrowing became more expensive. Banks became more cautious. So companies, especially weaker ones, started looking elsewhere. Private lenders stepped in. And they didn't just say yes. They said, yes, but at a higher interest rate. 2. Banks pulled back. After years of financial tightening and increased regulation, banks are no longer as willing to take on risk. They've become more selective, more cautious, more constrained. That leaves a gap, and private credit fills it. 3. Investors are desperate for yield. This is one of the most important drivers. Big institutions, like pension funds, need returns. They have obligations. They need steady income. Private credit offers higher yields than traditional bonds, less visible volatility, regular income streams. On paper, it looks stable, it looks predictable, it looks safe. But that stability might not be real. It might just be delayed risk. Part 4. The hidden structure of risk. Now we move into the heart of the problem. Because private credit doesn't just involve lending. It involves how that lending is structured. Many of these loans are highly leveraged, light on protections, covenants, built on optimistic assumptions. In simple terms, companies are borrowing more than they should with fewer restrictions than they used to have in a tougher economic environment. That combination is dangerous. Part 5. The big red flags. Let's break down the key warning signs. 1. No transparency in public markets. prices change instantly. In private credit, valuations are often based on internal models. This means losses can be delayed, risks can be underestimated. Investors may not see problems until it's too late. 2. Weaker borrowers. Many of these loans go to companies that already have high debt, struggle with cash flow, were rejected by banks. That's not a coincidence, it's a signal. 3. Extend and pretend. This is one of the most important concepts. Instead of recognizing losses when companies struggle, lenders often extend the loan, adjust terms, delay repayment. Why? Because recognizing losses hurts performance. So instead, problems are pushed into the future, but eventually, the future arrives. 4. Liquidity risk. This is where things can break quickly. Private credit assets are not easy to sell, not traded frequently, not liquid. So if investors suddenly want their money back, there's a problem. Funds can't easily exit positions. That creates pressure, and pressure leads to panic. Part 6, the 2026 warning signs. Now let's bring this into the present moment, because the warning signs are already appearing right now. Default rates are slowly rising. Refinancing is becoming more difficult. Interest costs are increasing. Some funds are quietly restructuring loans. This isn't a collapse, but it is stress. And financial crises don't start with explosions. They start with pressure building quietly. Part 7. How this connects to the global economy. Private credit doesn't exist in isolation. It connects to everything. If this market starts to crack, companies lose access to funding, investment slows, hiring slows, economic growth weakens, and then markets react. Confidence drops, risk spreads. This is how localized problems become global. Part 8. Why this is different from 2008. This is critical because many people assume if there's risk, banks will be affected. But this time, the risk is outside the banking system. That makes it harder to track, harder to regulate, harder to contain. In 2008, the crisis was visible once it started. This time, it could stay hidden until it suddenly isn't. Part 9. The domino effect scenario. Let's walk through what happens if things start to break, step by step. 1. A wave of companies struggle to repay debt. 2. Defaults begin to rise. 3. Private funds take losses. 4. Investors lose confidence. 5. Capital starts to withdraw. 6. Liquidity disappears. 7. Prices fall sharply. 8. Panic spreads. And then, what was once a stable income asset becomes a crisis. Part 10. Why no one is talking about this? Here's the uncomfortable truth. This story isn't trending because it's complex. It's not visible. It hasn't exploded yet. Media focuses on what is happening now, not what is building quietly. But the biggest risks are often the ones you don't see coming. Part 11. What smart money is doing. This is where it gets interesting. Some large investors are starting to reevaluate exposure, demand better terms, increase caution, not panic, but repositioning. That's usually an early signal. Part 12. What this means for you. So what does this mean for you personally? If this market cracks, credit becomes tighter, businesses face pressure. Job markets weaken, investments become volatile. But if you understand it early, you can prepare, you can stay calm. You can avoid emotional decisions. Knowledge is an advantage. Final thought. The biggest financial risks are rarely obvious. They don't come with warnings. They build quietly. In places most people aren't looking. Private credit might be a smart evolution of finance. Or the next hidden fault line in the global system. We don't know yet, but we do know this. When risk is hidden, it doesn't disappear. It accumulates. So I'll leave you with this. Do you think private credit is a smart innovation? Or a ticking time bomb? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to stay ahead of what's really happening in the financial world, subscribe now. Because the next update on this story might not be a warning. It might be the moment everything changes. Stay awake, stay aware. This is Felix from Mindful Minds and Money. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one.